Hello, welcome back. We're back again. It's time for another film review Friday. Today I figured we'd go into something that I find quite interesting. It's a film that came out last year and it's called Caught Stealing. I saw this trailer come out and I thought it looked quite interesting, to be honest. It looked quite good because it's by Darren Aronofsky, who I've seen bits and work before. I can't remember any of the names of his work, but I have heard the name Darren Aronofsky and I have seen some of his works. But this film feels more like it was done by Guy Ritchie. And if you're familiar with Guy Ritchie, you know he's famous for films like The Gentleman and Snatch and a bunch of other films that are very gangster oriented, but sort of they've got a bit of suave to them. And this film very much feels like it's in the vein of what Guy Ritchie has done before. Caught Stealing is essentially about a guy called Hank who gets asked to watch his neighbour's cat. And essentially it goes from there just in a complete whirlwind spiral of him getting caught up in mob bosses, gangsters, Jewish mafia, like a whole load of other stuff. And it's watching one man's life completely spiral out of control, because essentially he can't own up to his own past and his actions for what he has done in the past. Um, Austin Butler plays Hank, and I think he does a brilliant job at showing a man who was clearly just sort of he's reached the end of his rope with everything, and it's just like if you think he can't get anything worse happens to him, they throw another curveball at you, and then something else happens, and it just keeps going from worse to worse for him, till the end of the film, pretty much. There's loads of other famous actors in this. Matt Smith plays a very, very stereotypical British bloke named Russ, who is the neighbour who asks him to watch his cat. And Matt Smith, funny enough, plays he's a punk rocker in this, of all things, which with Matt Smith, it's just like you don't know what he's going to be in next, or what he's going to be, or which character he's going to be. So it's quite nice to actually see him play someone that's a bit like sort of different again. Zoe Kravitz is also in this film. She plays Yvonne in this, who's Hank's girlfriend. She's not in it for that long. She's in for about half of the film. Her role's really good. Her role is really, really good. She's sort of a moral compass in this film, sort of, and it's quite good. And then you got Lee Schreiber, who is famous for playing Sabretooth in X-Men Origins Wolverine. He's in this. He's one of the Jewish mob bosses, Jewish mafia bosses, and he's in this as well. And he's got like sort of, yeah, everyone in this film is just sort of, no one's really like good-hearted, other than maybe Zoe Kravitz's character who plays Yvonne. Like every character in this film has sort of problems and issues and stuff, and yeah, it's a good film. I did enjoy it. Again, it's not anything spectacular. I think it does well to sort of impersonate a Guy Ritchie film, despite the fact Guy Ritchie hasn't got a single thing to do with this film, which I find shocking, because if you watch it, it's very Guy Ritchie-esque, just without less of the humour. I think it's sort of it's a bit more serious in those stances, but it's still quite a good film. I would run down the plot for you, but essentially I want you to watch this film and make it up for yourself, because it is a good film and it is worth your time if you're going to give it a watch. It's shot quite well. There's a lot of good scenes in it. There's a lot of good action fight scenes in the film as well. But yeah, I would say if you want to watch a good sort of Guy Ritchie-esque film, still go for Snatch, still go for The Gentleman. They are two of his best bits of work, but this is a good substitute if you don't like those types of films. It's a good substitute. It's a good sort of middle ground between the two, and I think Darren Aronofsky has done well with this film. Again, not really anything too spectacular, but nothing that you'll be bored watching. I wasn't bored watching it. That's the main thing. And I think if a film can still keep your attention for an hour 45, then I think it does well enough on its own merits there. Some of the bits that I sort of didn't like, again, it tries to be funny at points, and I did giggle once, I think, but really, I think this film shines when it's in its serious moments and when it's like really delving into this man's past and how essentially he just can't accept he's responsible for a lot of the bad things that happen to him throughout the entirety of this film. But yeah, he essentially is the cause of his own making, and that's pretty much the moral of this film, is that if you've made a mistake, own up to it. You know, if you've got yourself in trouble, own up to those mistakes. You know, you might end up in a bit more trouble for it, but you know, it's better than trying to run from those issues, run from those problems. And I think that message is conveyed very well in this film. So that will be it for today. Oh, the rating. That's what I forgot to do. We're going to give Caught Stealing a 7 out of 10 because, yeah, it's not anything special. It's not going to hit the 8s, 9s or 10s, but again, it's not a bad film. It's a good film. I would highly recommend you go watch Caught Stealing if you haven't seen it already. Thank you for watching this lovely review on a Friday. I hope you have enjoyed. Apologies for last week. I was a bit busy on the Friday. That's why there wasn't a review. But I will be back next Friday with another review. Until then, I've been Connor. This has been Film Review Friday on a Friday. Peace and love. Bye-bye.